This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by dan'sinkintoner.com, ink and toner, and a whole lot more. And the Gurus of Tech Conference, July 13th through the 15th in Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. Now, you don't have to be a church media designer. You can be a volunteer. You can be on staff, non-staff, hopefully paid staff one day. All of those things. We're just here to help you learn how to use media to leverage it in your church to expand God's kingdom, which may sound contrived, but all we want to do is help you see what tools are out there and what they can do to help improve what you're doing so that you can, again, expand God's kingdom, because that's what it's all about. It's not about the tools or anything like that. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and join with me, as always, it's the three wise men of Jesus. We got, who do we got there? We got Dwight Schrute, Little Whitey, Colonel Sanders, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Now, on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the newest release of the MediaShout software. It's MediaShout 4. And there's been some pretty big changes in the past, and they are continuing on that way. And this is a PC-only software for presenting on Sunday mornings. We're also going to give you some freebies and some inspiration and a whole lot more. So if the three wise men of Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, this week I got something old and something new. It's our cheesy name for a news segment, but we're going to give you guys hopefully a couple links that will help you out in your day-to-day production. Something old and something you may have already heard about is StuffICanUse.com. Now, this is put on by, you heard at the top of the show, our sponsor, Gurus of Tech. Well, the guys that are putting that conference on also host this website, Stuff I Can Use, and it's basically series packages for their church, from their church, from their youth ministries, Be the Block, or The Block, and what's the other one? Post. It's basically some free stuff from some churches that do really great production. We can check out like their Threads package here. Really cool stuff. Really great graphic. It comes with everything. High resolution, HD, message title, the whole 9 yards. You can also get videos and layered Photoshop documents so you can alter it and make it your own. Really, really cool stuff from the guys at Stuff I Can Use. So check out Stuff I Can Use. Hopefully it'll be a great resource for you. Now, something new is the Town Hall for Hope with Dave Ramsey. LifeChurch.tv and Dave Ramsey are putting on a free event that your church can host on finances and basically the economy, your money, real answers with Dave Ramsey. And it's a live event. It's on Thursday, April 23rd at 8 p.m. You can find places that you can attend it. You can also find out how to host the event. It's really cool. I really want to encourage you guys to host one of these events, put it on for your community. I know it will have a great impact, and I know Dave Ramsey will have some great advice about how to use money. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that event because I think it's a really great one that you guys could be a part of. So check out StuffICanUse.com and TownHallForHope.com. Well, on this week's episode, we're going to be doing a review of MediaShout 4. Now, MediaShout has been out for quite a few years. It was the thing I switched from the terrible PowerPoint to. We switched from PowerPoint to MediaShout 2.5, which I actually have the case down in the basement. It is ridiculous. And so we're going to start with the case for version 4. And because I'm going to give a thorough review of this. And before we get into that, let me preface this with a few things. I was given MediaShout 4 for free by MediaShout. I didn't pay for it. They gave it to me to review for the show. I don't have any connections with them. I do sell some old media from like 3 years ago on the MediaShout store, just like a million other people. So I don't have any personal connection with them. I don't have any allegiances with anyone, including any other softwares like ProPresenter, Easy Worship, or any of that kind of stuff. I want to be an objective third party. However, that said, I switched a year ago to ProPresenter from MediaShout because I wanted to make that switch. So I've spent quite a few hours in the past few days and weeks getting to know MediaShout 4 and taking a look at it. And so some of the things you might say, well, Brad, that was in version 3 or version 3.5. Well, I'm going to be looking at this from the point of view of 2.5 to 4 and a lot of the changes that changed between there, as well as what my thoughts are on it compared to its old version. And I'm going to try not do too many comparisons and more just show you the program, let you know what has changed and what hasn't, and hopefully that'll be good. So all the disclaimers out of the way, here we go. So MediaShout 4, crazy packaging. They have like this foldable booklet thing and the CDs in like this little net case. It's interesting. One thing that is interesting, you get a free 1-year subscription to Worship Leader magazine or Group magazine, and you get 15% off worshipmusic.com. They have their little quick start guide, and then worshipteam.com, you get a 4-month free trial. And then they have their little Apple stickers. Yes, they apparently wanted to be like Apple, and so they're giving you MediaShout stickers to promote your favorite software. Interesting thought. So, overall, pretty interesting. So that's the packaging. Let's throw that on the floor. So there's the packaging. Now let's step inside the software. I've launched MediaShout 4, and as you can see, the interface has changed quite a bit. Now, the one thing you'll see is we have basically 3 or 4 main areas. We have our elements area, and we'll get more in depth about that. We actually have our script area, we have our viewers, and then we have Firebox and then the play controls. So the elements area is basically, it replaces Boxer in some ways, but it replaces a lot of things. They went through and totally stripped down and renamed everything. And I'm very thankful for this. They used to have really contrived names for all of their stuff. So Bob was the name of the Bible editor, and Lyra was the name of the song lyric editor and stuff. And all of them just had these really weird, funky names, and it was like, just call it a Bible verse, call it a song, call it lyrics, call it text, call it what it really is. And so they finally went through and did that. So you can get to all of your stuff right here. So we can go, let's say we want to pull up a graphic, and we can pull up the MediaShout version 4 logo and throw that in and hit play, and now it's on the screen. So, and you can see again, we have our program view here, and we have our next view. I'm actually going to expand this a little bit so we can see those viewers a little bit better. Because I like to have nice maximized viewers. So, okay, so there's our little viewers. We got our logo up on the screen, all as well. So really easy to access everything from there. Also, you have tabs for a lot of different things. So here's our song area, and here's the list of every song in the database. And so we can instantly either play a song from right here, so we can go to like all creatures of our God and sing or king, all creatures of our God and King, and we can go in there and we can click and throw up, and you can see that we can throw these graphics up on the screen, and you should be seeing it over here. Hopefully, we're doing a weird screen capture today, so some of the playback might be a little bit choppy. That's not the software. I'll let you know if it's the software versus our screen capture. So that's what's going on there. It's real simple, so you can pull that stuff. Also, they give you, let's create a new script. No, we're not going to save changes. You can see right here, drag files and songs and passages in here to add them to the script. So instead of having to right click and go to insert and find what you want to do, you can just go into this side library, drag it over, and now it's instantly in your script. And it's already there, it's all good to go. You can do this with anything. So we can go to our Bibles, we can go back and we can say we want the King James, no, we don't want the King James, we want the Message. So we'll scroll down, and here's the Message, and there is a problem. Close. Close. Now that problem is because I'm running this on a different user than I installed the software on. So let's see if we have that problem with every version. We don't have it with every version, so something that's probably just a issue. Again, this is a brand new piece of software. So they have, if you go to MediaShout.com and you click on support, you will see that they have Get Satisfaction, and you can view the Get Satisfaction page, and this has all of the current topics that they're talking about, and they're doing a really good job these days of being really open and honest about what's going on, what needs to be fixed, what they're working on, and getting feedback from people. So let's go check. We want Genesis, we want 1, and we want 5 through 26. So now we have Genesis 5, 1 through 26, and we can just drag this to the script window, and now it's added in there, and it's really, really easy. Very fast to add that in. It's a really nice way they have it set up. And again, we can go click, and they have all their default styling of what, the backgrounds and all of that kind of stuff. So, good. So we got text, and then we have files, which actually I think is my favorite part of the interface, is this files area, because it's what I will end up using the most. Let's say I had a video. This isn't, here's like the freebie from Igniter right now, is this purple spin loop. I can grab this, hit play, and it automatically starts playing. Now this purple spin loop, let's say this is our intro video or whatever, it's really easy to just start dragging and dropping things in there. We can go and grab a PowerPoint. So here's Did You Feel? And we're going to grab that and throw it in. It's automatically converted it over, and it's playing it with the PowerPoint viewer, and we have a PowerPoint in there. So super, super simple way to do that. So, and then we can just click the little collapse icon. Now they have, as you can see, version 3 to version 4, they've simplified some of this area. So if we want to edit any of these things, we can just click on the little Q editor thing, and it will bring us into a Q editor. Let's not, we're going to delete this. Let's edit our song. So this brings us to the Q editor, and the Q editor has a lot of preferences and properties that you can mess around with. So we have our Q properties. This is where you would set if it's manual or if it auto advances. You can select what kind of transition you want. So let's say we wanted to do this really awesome laser transition. Yes, you heard it here. We have a laser transition. So we're going to hit apply and show you the amazing power of the laser transition. Wow, it is fantastic. So, that's how you would change that. You can go back in here. So we have all our Q properties, your transition. Then we have foreground, and this is really cool. A lot of times you have a verse that's pretty long, and it's like, well, I only want 2 lines on this page, and then before you used to have to go through split it, or you'd have to cut and copy. The nice thing now is I can actually resize this text box, and when I resize it to the new place, it automatically overflows into a new page. So I can just automatically just it'll fix it for me and push the new content to the new pages. I can also drag this around. This is something you couldn't do in version 3. I can just drag around. I can drag the sides and sizes and all of that kind of stuff, which is really cool. Now this is global, so I think you can do it per slide, but we're not going to cover that right now. And then background. So this is where you can set backgrounds. And in MediaShout version 3.5, they added the ability to add backgrounds per slide. You can do that here. So we can inherit from Q, or we can go throw something new in. So we'll do visual2.jpg. Oh, that's what we currently have. How about we do teen worship? Woohoo, teen worship. We hit apply. So now you'll see that we start out with teen worship background and deal, and then we go to the next slide and it changes background and graphics, and it uses that awesome laser transition. Don't ever use the laser transition. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's a bad idea. No one wants to see the laser transition. Cut and dissolve. Those are the only 2 things you need. That's all it takes. So we're going to go back to cut. It's nice and simple. Okay, so now we have our cut, which is cutting. So that's the editor. There's a few more things in the editor. So besides the background, there's also soundtrack, so you can add in a soundtrack. And this is the simple view. Now we can go to the standard view, where this has a command area, a stage area, and a data area. And then there is the advanced viewer, which gives you a whole lot more things. It's just a different access to a lot of the same properties. So simple or standard are the two views that you really will want to use during this. So let's talk a little bit more about the decks area. Now, the decks area is this spot on the side we've been talking about, and they call the Bibles and the text and the songs. All of those are decks. And the files deck, as I said before, is one of my favorite additions or changes. One thing that you can do is you can set up fast folders. So if you have a place that you're always saving your media to for Sunday mornings, you can set up a fast folder to it. And this is really nice. And basically it will show up right in here. So we can edit these folders. We can actually click and we can do remove from fast folder if we have a current folder selected, or we can go to a new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my library drive and I'm going to go to my images directory. I'm going to click on it and then I'm going to do add to fast folders. And now we have images right here in our fast folders. Now I can also go in here and say, well, I don't really want media completes in there, so I'm just going to remove that from fast folders. MediaShout, I don't really want it, I'll remove that from fast folders. Tutorials, you're watching one right now, who needs that anymore? And we'll just get rid of all of the ones except for our own custom ones. So now in this drop down list we have shortcuts to our favorite things. So we can also we'll go back to my library, we'll go to my freebies folder that contains all my freebies I've gotten from church producers. We'll do add to fast folder, and now in this drop down I can easily get to any folder that I want on the computer that I normally am going to, which is really, really nice. Now let's go over and check out songs. All of these have preferences that you can pull from the drop-down menu here, or there's a drop-down here that you can do dual column or single column. So if we do dual column, we can drag this out and see that it shows us all of the different stanzas for that track and just lets us immediately fire when we select it once. Or we can switch back to single column, which I prefer, and we'll just drag that back over. And then there's preferences for all of this. So the one thing that I did not like, and I want to encourage you guys to check out, is there's great search in here, so you can search for different things. So we'll search for, let's say, Jesus. But if I search for Jesus, all of a sudden 135 songs showed up, but none of these are in the title of the track. These are all, it searches the entire song, which, well, isn't really that great. So we're going to go fix that real quick. We're going to do song settings, and then we're going to go to search fields, and we're going to unclick lyrics and hit OK. And now when we search for Jesus, we get 36 songs, and they all have Jesus in the title. So if we search for Jesus Paid It All, we'll find our Jesus Paid It Alls in here. And there's two different versions of Jesus Paid It All in here that we can choose from. So that's one way to customize the search. The other way you can customize the search is through groups. So we can actually click on this and we can, let's edit this song, and we can set this song up to be a part of a group. So first off, let's create a group manager. So we're going to do a new group, and we'll call this Brad's Faves. So it's like my fave 5 or my circle, or yeah, that's terrible. Anyway, so we'll close that out, and then we can now add this to a favorite group. So now let's add that to a group. So we're going to click back, and now we can right click on any element in here and we can add song to group. So we can just click on Brad's Faves and hit add, and now it's been added to that group. We can also remove song from group, and we can select which group we don't want it. We don't want it part of public domain anymore. So we can just hit remove, and now instead of viewing the entire library, we can just view Brad's Faves, and we see that we have one song in there. So it's really nice. You can set up all these groupings. So maybe you have all of your youth songs in one grouping, all your Sunday morning or kids songs in another grouping. So it's really easy to see all of the songs you have for a certain type. Or you could set up, even though you can search by you could set up your search to be by artist, but you could say maybe I want all of my Hillsong songs as one group, and you have a Hillsong group, and all of the Hillsong groups songs are all part of that one group. So that's a really nice feature that you can do, but make sure you edit that preference for search, because it's kind of annoying that it searches the entire text when you're just looking for it to search the title of the song. You can also edit Bibles. So we're going to go in and edit the Bibles. We're going to just basically get rid of the versions. And old versions of MediaShout, it would ask you during the install, which Bibles do you want to install? In this version, it installs every Bible that they have possible. Now, this is a great thing about MediaShout. All the Bibles are included. You don't have to pay for them extra. It's really nice. But we actually would like to get rid of some. So we're going to go up to Tools and go down to Settings, and we are going to click on Bibles. And now you can see that there are 29 Bibles in the library, and 29 are available. So we can go through and start unselecting. One thing I will note is that God's Word, you are not allowed to turn off. I think they have some sort of deal with them, and it has to stay turned on. So we're just going to unclick everything except for the NIV and New Living Translations and maybe the Message, and hit OK. And now we have a nice new short list of Bibles to search through, because we don't really use all those other ones. I know you can get Bibles from their website of different languages and that kind of stuff if you need them, but that's a nice, easy way to customize. So now let's talk about playback. I know a lot of you guys have had questions and comments. How does MediaShout deal with playing back of videos specifically? Well, this is what I have to say. I looked through Get Satisfaction and was reading some different things, and basically what I found out is that since version 3.5 and maybe even 3, I'm not sure about that, you've been able to play videos like H.264 and MP4 or M4Vs and different things like that. But it's a really good idea to have this little extension. So let's open up Firefox, and we're going to go search for the K-Lite plugin. So we're just going to do K-Lite package, and you will find it at Free Codecs, or you can go to File Hippo. And this is the K-Lite Mega Codec Pack, and this has all of these different things, but basically you're going to want to download and install this, and MediaShout will actually say, hey, should I do this, should I not do this, and just tell it to always do it, and it really helps out a lot. And then, as you can see, when I start playing this video, you'll see down in the corner that this FFD show video decoder showed up. And what this does is this actually helps improve playback of videos. So you might be seeing choppy playback on the screen, but that's not what's really happening. That's because of our screen capture yet again. So, but as soon as you get rid of that, let's say we go to our black here, it's immediately gone. So that's one thing that will really help improve your playback. We'll go over to our file viewer here, and we'll go to freebies. This is a great one. So here are some big freebies that are quite large, and we'll just flip through them, and they fade in and out of each other pretty well. And these are quite large, but these are all H.264 files. So you know, and then we could maybe play this Advent Candles SD file, but these are all, yet again, H.264 files that most of you thought you couldn't play inside MediaShout. Well, now you can. Even though that video playback might be working pretty well, and that plugin, that K-Lite plugin, is going to help you, here's one of the first problems. This, yet again, is an early version of the software, and I've seen this happen with almost every version of MediaShout. If you buy the 0.0 version of their software, it doesn't get good until the 0.5 version of the software, which will be 6 months to a year away from now. And right now, there's already problems and postings in Get Satisfaction about how there's laggy text over video, and how a lot of basic things are not being done super well. And so I just had the computer or MediaShout crash on me when I was trying to switch between one of those videos and an image. And I'm running, this external monitor is at 800 by 600. This is, I'm not pushing too large of an external display. Even though my computer can handle doing 1920 by 1080, I'm not pushing that. And I tried to push that at first, and it was horrible. My playback was really, really bad. And so just keep that in mind, because that is something to consider. So we're going to hope that the playback gets better with earlier updates, and that it doesn't take until version 4.5 for it to really be a solid piece of software. But they're taking a lot of steps in the right direction. They've made the interface a little less difficult to use. Overall, I would say that there's a lot of things going on in this interface, and it's like, where do I go first? And then the one thing that I have to mention, and I mention it from a designer's point of view and a user's point of view, I don't know what MediaShout was thinking with their playback controls down here. They need to hire a designer, because it is, or use the default Windows ones, because these buttons in this interface is totally fine. Looks great. This is a poorly done beveled black box with ugly blue buttons that look like they were stolen from a library inside a second version of Flash. It's just not good. And it looks like they didn't spend time on it. It looks like they just kind of glossed it over as a last detail, and they didn't really worry about it. But it's important. It's something that you use a lot. You are going to pause and play videos, and you need to be able to control the volume. And the fact that it's so poorly made is just, it's kind of disappointing. So those are two big things that worry me a little bit about MediaShout 4. However, though, this is one of the best pieces of software you can use on the PC for presentation. And I'm going to show you one new feature today, and then next week we're going to go through 3 of the biggest new features. Those features are background mode, where you can change graphics on the fly behind text that's currently on the screen. There's another one where you can do auto advance, and you can record how you want songs to play through and sync it up to music. The other one is importing PowerPoint right into your song library. And then this one is stage display. And they actually have a partnership with Vibook, and it's a USB to DVI connector that you can connect up a third monitor to your computer. Most computers have dual screens set up, but you need to have a third display. And I'm going to show you how to kind of view what's going on there. So we're going to go to our second viewer here, and we're going to pull down the viewer properties. And you can see that you can pull up a bunch of different buttons, but we're going to pull up a third button, and we're going to say we would like it to be the program of the stage display, and we're going to label it stage and hit OK. And we're going to switch this over to stage. Now what this is a white text on black background of what's currently going on the screens for people on the stage. So for your pastor, for your singers to see. So during a song like All Creatures of Our God and King, you'll see up here we have our background and our formatted text, but down here we have what's currently on the screen and then the first line of what's coming next. But basically, you can see that as you're going through, it automatically is telling you what's coming next and what's on the screen. So even when we're playing a video, so let's go back to that purple spin loop, it'll say on the screen that the purple spin loop underscore 480p is on the screen. Now we can actually go in and change what this says by going into the cue properties, and we're going to go from simple to a standard. And we're going to go to the stage display, and we can actually edit what this says. So this is a purple looping video. And we can do apply, and when we play this cue again, it will now say that this is a purple looping video. So the stage display is really cool because it allows you to have that third display. You can edit all of the content that goes on there, so you can write custom things to that person. So maybe we wanted to change this to transition to announcements. Oops. I can't spell next. So we can put that all in there and hit apply. So now when we hit play, now it will say, hey, our announcements are next. So we can transition, get ready for the transition. And you can use these cues to actually cue people on stage to what they're supposed to be doing next as reminders. So that's one of the big new features in version 4. We've already covered some of the basics of the interface. Hopefully this has given you a look at the interface and kind of what it looks and feels like. random thing that I just noticed is they do tooltips on these songs and shows you the first 2 verses of each song when you mouse over it, which is really cool. So that's just your first look at MediaShout 4, and next week we're going to go over some of those advanced features, how you use them, and how they stack up to the competition. Well, this week's inspiration is AE Tutorials tutorial on designing an awesome 80s inspiration title animation. What a title they had for that post. But I can't teach you guys everything about After Effects. I don't plan on trying because it would be stupid of me. So I want to make sure you guys know about some other great tutorials out there. This one covers a lot of different effects that are a part of After Effects. The teacher, Nick Campbell, does a great job with it. And I really want to encourage you guys to check it out because it will teach you some basics and how to use those to make some pretty advanced effects. So I would check it out, and we'll play the preview here at the end of the inspiration, so get inspired. Well, we wanted to say thank you to our sponsor of DansInkandToner.com. Now, Dan's been a longtime sponsor and friend of the show, and I really want to encourage you guys, if you haven't done it yet, at least just give Dan a call. You can go to the website. You'll see him down in the corner that he's got his phone number listed. Give him a call and just see how he can help out your church. I think and I know that you guys will save money by using DansInkandToner.com. Now, you guys can sign up for the wholesale program where you're going to get ink and toner at cost or at wholesale cost. With next day delivery. If you sign up using the promo code ChurchMediaDesign, you will get a 3-month risk-free trial. Also, you can find out about his leasing program and a lot of different things, but you can sign up for that. Our other sponsor is a new one, and it is the Gurus of Tech Conference. Now, Gurus of Tech is a conference put on by the guys at Southeast Christian Church and Church Tech Talk and StuffICanUse.com. It's going to be in their new multi-million-dollar youth facility. They're going to have some great speakers. Barton Damer's going to be there. I'll be there. The lighting director from Willow Creek is going to be there. So I'm kind of the underdog in this situation. But I'm really excited to be there. And I'm really excited. It's going to be a roundtable conference where it's going to be all about interaction. It's going to be about sharing ideas, and it's not just going to be listening to speakers, but it's really going to be about asking questions and really participating in this conference. So you guys can head over to gurusoftech.com. There's a section in there about Louisville, and that will be all about their conference. It's July 13th through the 15th. And I really want to encourage you guys to check out this conference. The reason why? It's free. Free conference. All you got to worry about is your hotel and food, but the conference itself, absolutely free. So there's no reason not to show up unless you have a wedding or a funeral. And either of those are momentous occasions that you probably shouldn't miss out on. But if it wasn't for those things, show up to the conference and check out gurusoftech.com and dansinkandtoner.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. We're going to have the second half of our MediaShout 4 review for you next week, so I want to encourage you guys to tune into that, find out more about the new features and a lot of different things that you can do with MediaShout 4 that you've never been able to do before. So we'll be covering those things on next week's episode. If you guys have any questions about MediaShout 4, anything you would like to know, we will maybe cover some more user questions in the future if you have them, so you can email those to me, Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv. Also, I really want to make sure you guys know about our email newsletter. You can sign up for that by going to ChurchMediaDesign.tv/subscribe, and you can subscribe to the newsletter. You'll find out behind-the-scenes info. You'll get some freebies that we don't talk about on the show, and you'll also hear about what's coming up next, and I'll give you guys some tips and tricks in there. I mean, it's going to be huge. It'll be like 12 miles long, something. I mean, like you're just going to be scrolling forever. Your little scroll bar is going to be tiny, because it's going to be so long. Or maybe it'll be about like 4 sentences because I don't have much to say. But check that out. It should be really great. So you can go to ChurchMediaDesign.tv/subscribe and subscribe for it there. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm twitter.com/CMDTV. Adam is twitter.com/AdamCMDTV. My email is brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv or adam@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. And I really want to encourage you guys to stay in contact with us. Make sure you guys are asking questions if you have them, or if you have thoughts and ideas that you want to know. Is this possible? Can we do this? How would I do this? Let us know, because that's what we're here for. So, as for me and the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying, see you later.